I love, especially now, being in Colourmusic because we've always said we would change as we went along, and we would always kind of challenge each other and make new sounding music, and we are doing that. We're finally getting to do that, and it's kind of the turning point with this album, and it's coming true. And so the versatility there, and that we all work together so well. I'll let somebody else explain kind of how we do that, but we just really meshed well on this one. Colin, you want to do that?
No. Good one. Yeah. No, but I would say I love the experimentation in this group. I love being in a band with these guys, and Nick Turner, who's not here. And just the fact that like we allow ourselves the freedom to do whatever we think is, I don't know, the perfect sound. And yet we also have enough restraint to where it's not, you know, like we monitor ourselves and each other. It's like, I just love that I'm in a group where we can do anything and try anything and still be able to like kind of censor ourselves and try and put out the best form of music that we can.
Honestly, I think that the interesting thing, the biggest change has come from the fact that we wrote our first record and we never played live, ever. Then we started playing live and we became a different band, and the dynamic became different. And we learned some things about music that we weren't thinking just as listeners, just listening to music. We learned some things about music from playing it. And the way that we played music really changed the way we were thinking about music. I mean, like, for example, like right now, I think a lot of indie music is very soft. It's kind of, we're like in a soft rock period of music. And when I was growing up, when I was a young kid, everything had to be hard. And I remember, like, you know, like you didn't like something if it was, hey, that's not hard.
It's not heavy, man.
It's not heavy. What's up with that? And there was definitely like a negative response to that, to get away from that. And it's been going on. I think right now we're living at the highest level of that, where you know, every band's got 8 members. Every band has a xylophone player and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's cool. I mean, it's a very interesting period. But we went out there and we kind of had that exact same attitude. And all of a sudden we're like, you know what? We like physicality. How can you make music physical without being just completely stupid?
I remember the first time I heard Stairway to Heaven. I know that's like so cliche. That is like the most cliche thing ever. But no, I was with my dad and we were driving and I heard Stairway to Heaven. And I was just like, that is the most amazing song ever, you know. I was like 4 or 5, something like that. And I just like, from that moment on, I became obsessed with music. And then also, I still am, but I started at a very early age. I was a huge Metallica fan. And like in 3rd grade, my grandma bought me the cassette of Injustice for All, and that was like, I was done. I had to learn how to play guitar and learn how to play that out.
I was listening to Iggy Pop's The Idiot, and I've never liked Iggy Pop. You know, I was like, yeah, he's a punk guy, whatever. And I never really liked punk music. I thought it was just kind of bland sounding. I like the attitude of punk music. I always liked the attitude of it, but I never liked the sound of it. And so, but it was when he was doing his thing with David Bowie back in the 70s, and I had listened to this album. My sister was really into David Bowie, and so she gave me a copy of it. And I listened to it, and I was like, man, I've never heard anything that gross, and I love it. There's nothing like that. And that really that's a big influence of what we're doing right now.
I'd say that Stillwater's made an impact because it's a town that we live in where you're kind of allowed to grow and change. Like there's not a scene here, and like, our friends, that our closest friends are in other lives, and if anything you would expect us to sound just like them or them sound just like us. But I think there's just something about this town where it's just total, it nurtures artistic freedom.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that what's going on is you are seeing like an indie culture existing here. And we've been friends with the Other Lives, back before they didn't know if they were going to call themselves Kunik. I think Stillwater right now, because none of the bands are really that big. I think Stillwater has a really unpretentious, a really fun environment because people can be really good artists, really great artists even, and mingle with each other and inspire each other, and we do. I mean, I think I think more so now than ever, there's definitely kind of a boiling going on here, and it'll be exciting to see what happens in the next 5-10 years. And our first album, I think, is a really, really interesting album when you consider where it was made. And the fact that it was made in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and you consider the roots of that album, where we were listening to grunge. And that, to me, I thought was really interesting. But I think for the rest of the world, it's not necessarily that interesting because you've got all these other different bands. And so our experimentation has really grown, has made us grow as musicians a lot.
I think it would be so much harder to be in a band that I think you have to make your next record sound like you, or the last record, or something like that. It's just, I can't imagine going on stage and having feeling that like you were playing a weaker version of your last album or anything like that, you know. Just like, oh yeah, you know, this kind of ties into this. It's just it's not fun. So on a human level, it's like we kind of have to have it. And we've definitely gotten a new spark from playing these new songs, the few shows that we've done, and just, you know, passing them back and forth after we worked on them. And it's just such a great feeling doing that. So.
Good luck wrapping the album up.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.